Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me here for this Halo MCC Insider Program video. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at Halo Combat Evolved's multiplayer test that they're running as of right now. But before we do, it's important to understand what the issues were with the original MCC release when it came to Halo CE's multiplayer. Now, in the original release, the multiplayer for the original Halo suffered much like the rest of the multiplayer modes suffered in that game to the matchmaking queue hole. What I mean by that is that after about 30 seconds, if you weren't matched into a match, it would fall into an endless loop where it was telling you that it was searching for matches, connecting to matches, and then searching for matches, and then connecting to matches, and it would just do that repeatedly over and over and over. And the only way to cancel out of that is to back out of the multiplayer matchmaking and then again enter into it. The only problem is that the population is very, very low for the original Halo Combat Evolved, at least when it came to multiplayer. And you can never tell if there was just a lack of people on or if you fell into this matchmaking hole. And a few times of myself, I would cancel out just as it placed me into a match, and then I would go back into matchmaking only to fall back into that matchmaking hole where you just sat there for that endless cycle. That doesn't exist in the new one. Yet. The multiplayer testing doesn't have a lot of people on, and this is the same issues that I've run into with the other matchmaking playlists right now, is that I think that the reason why they're not working as well as they should is, one, this is a very limited pre-release test that they're going to be opening soon to everyone who registered, but aside from that, not a lot of people are on. They're playing Fortnite, they're playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, they're playing a infinite number of other games at this exact time. Another issue with the original release for the multiplayer was that there's no radar. For some reason, the radar, which would only disappear in certain gameplay types, maybe such as Pro Slayer, are just non-existent in all multiplayer modes across the board for the original CE. That still exists in this pre-release testing. I don't understand why. My memory serves me very strongly that while playing split screen and while doing system link on the original Halo on the original Xbox, missing radar was not a problem. I don't know why it is here. I do not like playing most Halo modes without the radar. It is an integral part of the game, and it is actually one of the reasons why I dislike Halo 5 so much, is because the radar in that game is completely screwed up. So I'm hoping that when they come out with whatever new updated patch for the pre-release, or just maybe for the retail version of this patch that they're releasing, that they put the radar back in. I don't know, for whatever reason, it is just not there, and it drives me insane that it's not. Another issue with the original release was the simple fact that there was no score displayed on screen. This is again something that goes against my memory with the original Halo, is that you could see somewhere on the corner of one of the screens, whether it was the top left or the bottom right, there was a score. It let you know who was winning, it let you know who was losing, it let you know if you were tied, and it's a very basic function and asset that is needed for multiplayer gaming. And again, I don't know why it's not in the original release, but sadly, it's still not in this pre-release patch, which again puzzles me. I have no idea why it's there. You have to hold the back button in order to see the score, and even then, the score is split up between each players, even though you're on the same team. I don't understand why, and I'm hoping that they get this fixed again before the final version, or at least for the final version. And the last issue that I'd like to bring up for the original launch of the MCC for Halo Combat Evolved was the fact that there was no timer for each multiplayer match that you were in. Now, generally, no timer is fine when you're playing custom games. You don't want to be rushed. You're playing against your friends, or you have a tournament set up. But when it's online and it's in the matchmaking, there's been a standard that has been set that generally it's 10 to 12 minutes for 4v4 game types. Anything lower than that, the timer is usually even shorter, especially for 2v2. And that issue still exists in the pre-released software build that we're playing right here. The match that you're watching is a 2-on-2 capture the flag match on Derelict that I ultimately ended up quitting because neither one of us were even close to reaching the score limit, and there was no game timer to end the game so that if they had a higher point than us, they would win, or if the match ended 0-0, we would tie. And it's very frustrating, and they have to have that in. That is a current staple. And again, if my memory serves me correctly, and I'm almost positive that it does, there was in-game timers for Halo matches when I was doing System Link, just set as a default, nothing that I had to go in and change. And they need to re-add this back in. Nobody wants to play a 2v2 capture the flag match for more than 8.5 to 10 minutes, especially 15 minutes, which was where I was at when I quit. I got bored. Neither one of the other teams were trying to score. Every time I got close, I ended up dying. The match seemingly was going to go on forever, so I dropped out. Now, unfortunately, Halo Combat Evolved's multiplayer still remains the absolute weakest part of the MCC. And just, I feel, by adding in these little problems, by fixing the things that I talked about here, they could take great strides to improve it, or at least bring it up to a standard level, a comparable level of the other games. But that's going to go ahead and end this look at the multiplayer portion of the MCC pre-release build that is coming later this summer. What do you guys think? Leave me your comments in the section down below. I'm interested to know. And is Halo CE something that you guys want to play as far as the multiplayer goes? Has it been something that you've played before with the original release? Let me know in the section down below. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for joining me here, and I'll see you all in the next video.